Thanks for watching Afternoon Live. It's not uncommon for kids to say no to their parents or avoid doing things they don't want to do, but sometimes this behavior goes beyond what is considered normal. Our next guest is here to share her daughter's story and her experience with pathological demand avoidance disorder. We welcome Cheryl Quimba. Thank you so much for coming in today.
Hi, thanks for having me.
So tell me about your beautiful girl, Nora, who is now 9 years old,
Yes,
right?
she is.
Let's go back to the beginning.
Yeah.
As a little baby, you adopted her.
Yes, we were matched with her birth parents when she was still in utero. We got to be at the hospital, and we got to bring her home at 2 days old.
That's really special.
Yeah.
And you noticed some things pretty early on with her?
Yeah, I had a lot of experience with children, and so I just noticed that a lot of times her affect would be pretty flat. Things that would normally kind of excite or engage other babies. She just kind of seemed to be observing, just flatly observing. But then at other times, she would suddenly just seem like she came alive, like a live wire.
Yeah.
And there was really no telling what was going to get one response or the other. But we could just tell she was just drinking in life a lot.
Okay.
But not a lot of the typical things that you would see when
Right.
people are looking for autism, like the staring at her fingers or the lights or things. So there were no red flags from the pediatrician at that point.
And tell me about, there was something that she would do with toys where she would love a toy and then the next day not.
Absolutely. She has given away more toys. I can't even tell you. Yeah, it was all about novelty. She had a little monkey that she slept with her pacifier, and one day it got a hole in it, and I thought she'd be devastated.
Yeah.
And she said, "Monkey trash."
Oh, wow.
And I saved it for her keepsake box, and she
Right.
saw it on the counter, and she's like, "Why isn't the monkey in the trash?" And I'm like, "Oh, because my heart is breaking."
Yeah.
You know, but she was just done.
Yeah.
No attachment
So
there.
you go down the path as a parent trying to find answers. What were some of the initial things that you explored, or what's some of the feedback that you got when she was younger?
Sure. At first, we just thought she was a really strong-willed toddler, but her responses to things were just disproportionate to what was happening
Yeah.
or what was being asked of her. Giving choices, if we gave choices A and B, which were both good, she would come up with C. I mean, just completely had to be in control
Sure.
all the time. And so as we went into preschool, one of her teachers had a daughter who was autistic, and she said that she believed Nora was having some executive functioning struggles. And so we thought, okay, well, we'll do some OT. We'll try to,
Yeah.
you know, move along in this direction. And OT was helpful with managing emotions to some degree.
Right.
But then the OT even said, something else is going on here. I can't tell you what it is. You should push for more evaluation.
Okay.
So
So how do you come to find, let's talk about what PDA is in the first place, and what were some of the
Absolutely.
things that tipped you off when you were reading about it that made you go, oh, that's my kid?
Yes, absolutely. So when we did get her screened and found out that she was autistic, I just started reading all that I could on girls on the autism spectrum, and it was just like finding all of these circle holes, and we were a square peg. So
Oh,
close, but
yeah.
it just wasn't fitting, and a lot of the interventions that were helping these other kids who are on the spectrum, it was like gasoline on a fire for our daughter. We
Yeah.
couldn't figure it out. So I joined as many online support groups as I could, and probably roughly 100,000 parents of autistic kids between the groups.
Yeah.
And just combing and asking questions. And one day somebody said, well, my child has PDA. And I said, what is that?
Yeah.
And that ended up pointing me to a bunch of research that had been done in the UK since the 1980s.
Okay.
And a lot of organizations that were working with kids with pathological demand avoidance.
What were some of the telltale things for you that made you connect with that diagnosis?
Absolutely. You know, it was that she wasn't just resisting things that she didn't want to do. She was resisting everyday things.
Okay.
Things that had to do with you know, teeth brushing, baths, getting dressed, certain things with eating, transitions, things that sound familiar for parents.
Right.
But again, the level of response that we would get, completely disproportionate.
extreme,
To
yeah.
the extreme, and very long lasting.
Okay.
And sometimes even leading to like running away from the home.
Yeah.
And yeah, so.
And now that you've found that and you know much more about it,
Yes.
what's Nora's life like today?
She's amazing.
Yeah.
Yes, we've really taken some huge steps in our family to create the supports and accommodations that she needs, and she loves being in drama. She recently
wonderful.
took part in an Annie Kids play. She is a master slime maker and is looking at maybe a little entrepreneurial thing on the side, making that.
Hey, information is power, so we appreciate you being here today and sharing your story with us. Thank you so much. It's great talking with you.
Thank you for having me.
And we'll have much more on our website at katu.com.